Hey everyone, True here, and today we are going to check out the new upcoming SSR, DSun WUKONG, and hopefully it will be the last for a while as SSR drifts into a bit more of a questionable release policy. The art looks very similar to the Storm version from 1.5 years ago, but her skill set is very different. It's more of a mix between Dark Rainer and Jirel. As you can see, she can conjure herself, so this is something to definitely watch out for, especially considering her speed of 525, and that gets even better considering her passive skills. But first, let's check out her active skills, the first one being the only skill that actually produces spirit, and only one at that. Small correction, the only active skill that produces spirit, and this one gives 50% damage to one enemy. However, the damage doubles for each other DSun WUKONG that is in the ally team. That includes reinforcements. Considering that there can be up to 4 other DSun WUKONGs in the ally team, that means that the actual max damage is 800% for a skill that produces spirit and costs 50 time units, and on top of that enrages all the other DSun WUKONGs on the battlefield, meaning on their turn they could deal a cool 1200% damage to an enemy. However, everything else about this skill not so great, of course, because there's no ignore of counterstands, for example, or poison skin, or revenge passives, or armor. So really nothing that is getting ignored here, and this is a common theme with this unit. We look at the next one, that is basically a vigor skill, prime blow, 1 spirit, cost, and 50 time unit cost. Again, 50 time unit cost. Actually, 50 time units is the highest cost, the highest TU cost of this new unit, which is already pretty crazy. Then again, what the skill does isn't too crazy. It is 400% damage, which is nice, but nowadays nothing too crazy. It's only usable if DSun WUKONG has 75% or more. However, the question really is, when will she ever use that skill, considering that the combined forces is available? This will be a bit interesting when we look at the AI analysis a little bit later. Before that, we check out the third active skill, which is Lightning Kick. 2 spirit cost, and it is an instant skill. It is locked for 100 time units and then is locked for another 100 time units after use. This one deals 800% damage to one enemy as well. Again, if she is enraged, then that means 1200% damage to one enemy, and on top also mega poisons that enemy for 200 time units. So those are definitely stats to take out some units, especially those that are weak to poison. Mega poison, as always, deals 20 times the damage of normal poison. And then the part where it gets really interesting, again, as promised, the skill that isn't costing any more than 50 time units. This one costs 2 spirit as well, and it adds another DSun WUKONG to the next in line of allied reinforcements. If there are already 4 allies on the battlefield, the DSun WUKONG currently on the battlefield is exchanged with the new DSun WUKONG, which will trigger some very, very nice effects from the passive skill side. This skill is only usable if the user doesn't have the counterstance status effect, and as you could see from the active skill side, there's actually no way for her to gain it here. That means we will see it in the passive skill side, of course, but that means that the actual requirements are actually really low, I feel. The skill does become locked if there are already 4 conjured copies or more of a DSun WUKONG among allies. But before that, I don't know, if she gets going, if she gets the flood going of these doubling arts, then it seems to be getting really crazy. Let's see what I mean when we look at the passive skills. There we have the entry effect at first. Basically, we have the dark gifts, and This effect triggers whenever she comes in from the reinforcement. It super poisons all the enemies, and she gets the lightspeed entry, meaning she immediately gets the turn, she gets the counterstance status effect, and is fully healed. That is, of course, important if she is a unit that was previously exchanged. She does get the counterstance effect when she enters from the reinforcements, so that means she cannot immediately just use another doubling arts skill, and she does get the endure right away, so basically the temporary hold ground, whether she starts at the very start of the battle or she comes in from the reinforcements. When she comes in from the reinforcements, then it is a super poison to all enemies entry. Super poison dealing 4 times the damage of normal poison, but where this gets a little bit crazy in combination with the lightspeed entry is when we look at her second passive, which is called 1000 Thrusts. What a nice, wholesome passive name. And each time this unit damages a poisoned enemy with an attack, she will immediately get another turn. And not only that, but she gains 1 spirit for each other ally DSun WUKONG in the ally team. Up to 4 spirit gained max, but come on, think about this. She is entering with a super poison all, so if there is no guard on the enemy team at that point, she can basically freely attack the whole enemy team, and if she has more than 1 ally in terms of DSun WUKONGs anywhere in the team, she will basically max out the spirit on your team all the time. It will be a huge spirit factory if she gets the snowball rolling. Much more menacing than a snowball of Jirels, for example. However, that is already it. Let's take a quick look at the AI Let's take a quick look at the AI analysis powered by Nizetto. And here we see a lot of conditions that are actually increasing her threat level. The first one is if she already killed 1 unit, then her threat increases by 20%. Not quite sure where this is coming from. Don't see any direct connection in her skill set, honestly. Then another 20% if her HP is above 75%. Yet again, of course, yes, she has the prime blow, which is a vigor effect, but 20% seems a bit much, honestly. But I mean, the good thing for her is that as soon as she goes below that, that goes away. And then we have the number of enemies poisoned being a factor. If there's only 2 enemies poisoned, it's just a 5% increase, another 10% for the third one, another 15% for the fourth one. So you can already see that her hate can get pretty high, especially considering that she does, or maybe a copy of her, does poison all the enemies when she enters. So DSun WUKONG might be a big hate magnet in certain situations. Looking at her skills, she has a 1.2 weight for the combined forces, a 1.0 weight for prime blow, which leaves me asking, not quite sure if there's any hidden modifiers for that prime blow skill, but right now from the numbers, I don't really see when she is using it, if she is liking the combined forces more anyways. In any case, lightning kick is the third one with 1.88 skill weight. That is the one that is being locked every 100 time units, so she can possibly alternate with the other 50 time unit skills quite nicely, one of which is the doubling arts with a 20.0 weight. Of course, the one she should go with whenever she can. This is for sure her most powerful skill, given the kind of entry effect that comes with it directly. She herself is also put into reinforcements by that skill, which is very important to note, because then yet again she can trigger that kind of entry skill later, and she gets healed fully on her re-entry, which is important because, as you might have noticed, none of her active skills are actually healing her. There's also no way for her to reset her endure. There's no wards in place, so she will be susceptible to stun, sleep, and especially poison, because the poison immediately ignores the endure as well. But there is still a lot to like about this new DSun WUKONG, especially, or maybe pretty much only if you run a poison team, because that super poison all entry doesn't really mix with any other team. Yes, Cursed Sleep is not affected by this effect, but you might actually want to have as many poisoned enemies as possible with these Dark Sun Wukongs on the field, because then they can absolutely go wild. As for the setup to call a reinforcement, or rather to duplicate herself, it is really super easy. She gets the counter stance at the start. If that is triggered, or rather she doesn't get the counter stance at the start, she does get it if she comes in front of reinforcements. So if that is triggered after her first turn, or maybe her first turns, because of the kind of poisoned regaining turn mechanic, but if she is getting attacked, then she can pretty much immediately use the duplication skill, because the counter stance will be gone, except if she doesn't survive it, of course. That being said, if she is at the start of the battle with a speed of 525, she should start without the counter stance, and with a speed of 525 get a turn very quickly and immediately get the chance to set herself up with a duplication and with an immediate super poison and light speed entry that might be very, very difficult to deal with for an enemy team. And of course, if she starts, that means you can hide her behind a guard like Light Anya right there. Another small problem is that she might not be ideally synergetic with the latest strong poison release, Cleopatra, because the super poison, of course, also kills off imposters. Besides that, she still needs to be awake, of course, when she gets her turn and is able to deploy this kind of duplication. So yeah, it is an active skill. But yeah, more info on the new Dark Sun Wukong coming soon. I think this might be a bit of a rough cut, because I'm recording this in a hotel room, and also it's 2 a.m. now. I hope you still enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for the visual to Saturn. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a true carrot. And as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.